You're listening to my WorldNet Daily exclusive audio article. Today's WorldNet Daily exclusive audio article is entitled, "The Right to Bear the Constitution," or at least review it. Many Americans suffer from a common phobia. No, it's not the very reasonable fear we are living now of Democrats running the country. That's not a phobia, for it's not irrational. No, they suffer from an irrational fear of guns. Guns are not inherently scary. They are just a tool, like a screwdriver or a leaf blower. You've heard the saying, the right tool for the right job. You wouldn't use a gun to blow the leaves around your yard, and thus you wouldn't use a leaf blower to defend yourself. You could try, but I'll bet it wouldn't go well. Yet over the years, more and more citizens have been purposely conditioned to think guns are scary weapons of war. On a weekly basis, we hear one after another proposed piece of gun curtailing legislation coming from the left. They've scared the people into agreeing that one of the solutions is the gun-free zone, and these days there are more and more gun-free zones than ever. Yet economist John Lott found that, quote, since at least 1950, all but 2 public mass shootings in America have taken place where general citizens are banned from carrying guns. In Europe, there have been no exceptions. Every mass public shooting, and there have been plenty of mass shootings in Europe, has occurred in a gun-free zone. Bet you won't hear that fun fact from any anti-gun lobby. We hear that restaurants like Starbucks, Chipotle, and Panera Bread and chain stores like Target have become gun-free zones. Although Target dressing areas are currently closed due to the COVID scare-a-thon, when they reopen, they will still allow men and little girls in the same dressing area, but won't allow guns. Ask any mother or father which is scarier, a law-abiding citizen with a gun or a creepy old man watching their daughter undress. Although these stores' policies are stupid, I agree with them all. These are private businesses and have the freedom to invoke such policies. What bothers me more is some on the right who complain about it, not regarding these restaurants or stores specifically, but how they have mistakenly framed the argument. Hopefully, it's just an oversight. Years back, Starbucks made the announcement that they were going gun-free. At the time, Steve Doocy and Brian Kilmeade on Fox and Friends were discussing gun-free zones in general and Starbucks specifically. They both agreed that in a state where carry is legal, people should have the right to walk into Starbucks with a gun. Shockingly, I even heard Glenn Beck say something similar. I have to believe this just was a knee-jerk reaction. Can you see what's wrong with this argument? 'Cause it leapt out at me. Has anyone read the Constitution lately? Has anyone read what the founders and the authors of the Constitution said about guns? I was stunned when I heard, "if a state permits open carry," from learned men and advocates of the Second Amendment. How did they miss this, or did they just not listen to their own words? How dare the federal government or any state in the Union attempt to or already successfully usurp the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution? This is clearly illegal. It's like saying, if a state permits free speech, it's okay to speak out against this or that. The very premise is absurd, and no one would stand for such a usurpation or abridgment of the First Amendment. It's ridiculous and clearly unconstitutional to tell me that I can't bear my firearm. And for those who are unfamiliar with bear, it's synonymous with carry, either openly or concealed. The founders made no distinction, and neither they nor the Constitution ever mentioned anything about licenses or permits. And putting that rant aside, it is even more absurd to mandate military bases as gun-free zones, where trained combat personnel may not even carry firearms. Many blame the Clinton administration for this, but it was actually a Department of Defense directive signed in 1992 by the kinder, gentler George H.W. Bush's Secretary of Defense. Are we not the laughing stock of the world? Soldiers who can't carry guns. Oh wait, they can have a gun. Remember the 2013 D.C. Navy Yard mass shooting? One of the parents of a Marine at the D.C. barracks said her son claimed that they had weapons. Wait for it, but they weren't issued ammunition. And there's the punchline to the sick joke that are gun-free zones. The Marine went on to tell his parents that 3 people had been shot at the time, and they could have prevented the rest from being killed if only for bullets. Folks, this stuff is all common sense. More guns in the hands of good guys and girls is the only deterrent for these heinous acts. These types of mass killers are cowards that purposely seek soft targets like gun-free zones. Thank you for listening.